more of a process and resource clearly and better decision making. Okay, let's see of them. Okay, coming to the this like I have discussed about yesterday also, but I'm gonna come discuss this again. Okay, the process and resource optimization. It is a big data analysis which it provides several avenues to improve the operation efficiencies, and it helps to boost the bottom line one. And there were several things in this which is have a individually of theme. Okay, the first thing was resource planning. Okay. The basically the resource planning, it is all of a process which it determines the how business will be allocate the resources in a project, or just like assigning a task to be individuals, which is based on the skills and availability. Okay, the resource planning is all about the process where it determines the how business will allocate the resources in a project, just like by assigning some of a kind of a task to the any individual by based on their skills and availability. So therefore the project manager is going to be resource and plan the make sure they're using the resources of a members very team efficiently. And the resource planning is all about identifying, estimating, and allocating the resources what it were being needed to a complete successful project of a program or entity. So these planning helps to manage a risk and uncertainties, to minimize the delays and to optimize some to meet a project objectives and a timelines with a date. So the basically the four steps of this resource planning is all about preparation of an inventory, and second thing was evaluation of a terms which is available for the particular development. Third thing was the planning of an exploitation of resources, and the fourth thing was a conservation of an resources. So it is called a resource planning just because of the skills and the methods which is implemented to be a properly of utilization of a resources. So there were the three stages of a resource planning, which was identification and inventory of resources, and the second thing was evolving a planning structure with an appropriate technology, often some kind of a skills and setup of implementing proper resource development plans. And next thing was of a matching the resource development plans with overall national development plans. So, okay, if something was interlinked with this development also, then these kind of a new application has to be these kind of a new application has to be a equal stage and with a great lines of a properties, and everything has to be set up with a equally, right? So with that it need to be a great work to be a back work. So with that only it's gonna be match the overall national development plans even. Okay, in that way. And if you ask what are the elements of this resource planning, then the elements of this resource planning was a capacity planning, demand for a forecast, and accountability. So these project managers has to be get understand what the company has like a proper capability. Okay, first thing you have seen the capability planning, right? So first coming to the capability planning of an resource planning, the which is the element of resource planning. First thing was the capability element, right? Sorry, capacity of an planning. So these capacity has to be know like what is the actual capability of in that processing of a company. And the second thing was demand forecasting, right? The element of a resource planning. So it has to be know what was the actual demand and actual purpose to accommodate to them. So and the if it do things for we getting a point, then you're gonna wait. They can get to know that accountability also. So they have to know much what the customers actually needed and the company what was actually needed. So it is also has been involved in India. There is a there is a five main process for this, which was to determine the strategic position and to prioritize our objectives and to develop the strategic plan and to execute and manage our plan and review and revise the plan. So basically, our resource planning is all about the process which it determining the how business will be allocate the process resources of a project. So such like an assigning a task in your language to an very individual of a which is based on their skills and availability. Okay, that they simply assign some kind of a task to every individual, like based on their capacity and availability and the sources. And then the project manager is gonna be resource the planning to make sure how it has to be used and how it has to be implemented and how it has to be done till the end effectively. Then the process of this is to identifying and estimating and allocating some kind of resources which it need to be successfully done to any of a project with of a program and also initiative. And the four main steps of resource planning was preparation of an inventory, and the second thing was evaluation of a terms of an availability for that development, which I have just said it before. And the third thing was a planning for an resources, and the fourth thing was a conversation of an resources. So the basic three steps of a resource planning are identification and inventory of an resources and developing of an planning which it has a proper structure. And the third thing was comparing whether the resources has been overly within national developments or equally or managed to be or not. And the elements has been used for resource planning was capacity planning, demand forecasting, and accountability. So the five steps of a main planning processing is to determine the strategic position and develop prioritize your objectives and developing of a strategic plan, execution and managing your plan, and the last but not the least, which is the review and revise the plan. So if any modification needed, you're gonna be revised and you're gonna rectify in the last thing. And the next thing was PLM. Okay. Next thing was PLM, which is fully said to be a product life cycle management. So it is often all about, it is a strategic process which it is be managing the complete journey of a product or from an initial ideation, like just like if the product you're really gonna implement, so you're gonna make from the start, right? Like the starting steps in algorithms, we have the steps, right? In that way only we're gonna start anything from basic steps. So the developmentation, the elements, the classification has been needed, and the modification, whatever it has been done. So everything will be a process, right? So it's a complete journey of a product in your ways. It is a complete journey of any of a product. So it is a process of a managing the complete journey of a product from my initial to the disposal. Disposal in the sense like to the end of that project. So in that way. So in other words, we can also say that it is in a managing everything involved within a product from start to grade. So yeah, it is okay. The PLM is all about. It is all about in the word in the full form itself. We come to know that it's a product life cycle management, which is the life cycle, which is it is for the life cycle, which it is start from end. The whole process has to be involved from the developing to the developer and whatever the thing. So this introduction to the conclusion, everything it will be yet to be involved and like from the start to the grade. So the components of these PLM is like often it is the first component of this PLM is to managing of a design and the process documentation. So whatever the documentation they're going to prepare, they're going to design that and they're going to process it also. Second thing was the structure of a product, just like a bill of a material management. Like we have to estimate some kind of some kind of a cost, right? How it going to really develop with high cost or a low cost. Everything we should be in the billing stage only, right? So we have to see the profits first thing if we go into any thing to in a market. Second and the third thing was a central data wallet like electric file repository. And the fourth thing was a pattern documentation classification like attribute management, just like a metadata in that way. And the final thing, fifth thing was materials content identification for environmental complaints. So yeah, complaints, which is so important. Material content identification. I'll repeat again. The management, the first thing was the first element of a PLM was the management and a design process documents. And second thing was product structure of a management. Third thing was central data vault, and the fourth thing was a pattern documentation of classification and metadata management. And the fifth thing was the materials content, which it for an identification for an environmental complaints. The three main elements of this was they are the information and communication technology, which is shortly said to be ICT. I was repeating again. The communication technology, which is shortly said to be information and communication technology, which is shortly said to be ICT, and the processes and the methods. So these are information communication technology. Going to describe that what is the needed for platforms and a system. So these going to include some kind of an architecture, tools, and standards. Okay, the working process of an information and communication technology was is to it describes the needed platforms and systems. There are also which is included for architecture tools and standards. Okay, there are the three ones, which is information and communication technology and the processes and the methods. And application was it is a life cycle. This I have this before, right? It is all about the life cycle, which is a software which is a cloud based tool, and it helps to manage the resources which is required to design, test, market, administrate a product or a services. The four stages of a PLM is to introduction. Yeah, right. The life cycle only depends upon the four things, which is introduction, growth, maturity, decline. Okay. It shows the how to leverage your business's strategy, and we get you to come to know what is the success and what is understandable of a product life cycle. So basically these PLM concentrates on a four stages, which was introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. Uh, the principal thing of this PLM is 17.1 PLM principles, which is close to the customer and productivity through the people and hands-on value driven and stick to the thing, etc. The phases of these PLM is development, introduction, growth, maturity, or also stability to until the end of a decline. Okay. The benefits of this is to help the companies to be maintained detailed and historical information of the changes in a product via versions to ensure the audit trails are intact. So the phases of this PLM is that a development and introduction, growth, maturity or stability and a decline. So the platform has been used for this is to a piece of a software which is developing the users to be manage their personal finances. The creator of PLM is Otto Klippner in the year 1931. Even the developer also that he only. So the main role of this PLM is to be responsible for managing the product as it goes through a different stages of a life cycle, the up and downs, whatever. It's gonna see the whole life of any product from the start to the from the grass of an end. So in that way, it is responsible for managing the PLM is all about it is responsible for managing the a product which it goes through different stages of a life cycle. The architecture of PLM is all about is the process of carefully preparing a product from its inspection to its ultimate upload. It is all about the PLM. So it is needed. The basic need of PLM is all about it allows the to for a better communication and the sharing of a data for more collaboration and quicker reaction time. So it allows for a better communication and sharing of a data for more collaboration and quicker reaction time. So if you ask what is the feature, it is all about easier and management of integration and collaboration. So basically the PLM is all about it's a strategic process of a managing the complete journey of a product, any from initial identification and development to the service and disposal. So, and the components of a PLM was to manage the design and process the documentations and the product structure even. And then next thing was the central data. The three major elements of a PLM is of information and communication technology, which it describes the platform and the systems, which it includes some kind of a tools, architecture, standards, and etc. And this application is all about a cloud-based tool. The four stages of a PLM is an introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. So PLM is all about is a recycle of a thing of a life cycle, which it from the start to end it sees the development of a growth from the near without any defaults of a happening. Which it from like which is shortlisted to be introduction, the growth and the maturity, up and downs, and the decline, etc. The benefits of it is all about it helps to maintain the companies to be deleted and historical information that changes the product of a very versions of an intent. So the phases of a PLM is all development and introduction, growth, maturity or a stable, vis-a-vis or a delay decline. This platform is used to a piece of a software which is developed to help the users to manage their personal financials. So it has been created and the PLM has been started by the man who is said to be a Otto Klippner in the year 1931. So the basic role of PLM is all about responsible of it is managing the product as it goes through through the different stages of its life cycle. It is all about PLM. And the next thing was manufacturing. Let me see, manufacturing execution. It has been here. Okay. Okay, the manufacturing execution system is it is designed to optimize the manufacturing, as in the name itself. What it do is that it monitors and it tracks the documentation and controls the entire production of a life cycle. Okay. Okay, it is all about the process of monitoring and tracking whatever like whatever the product it has been designing from the start. It's gonna check on everything and it's gonna be monitor those all the things. Okay, these IoT is mainly concentrates upon. And the basic advantage of this is to it improves the quality control and it increases the uptime while reducing the cost and etc. The use of this is to the system is a primary thing which it tracks and documents in the transformations of a raw materials which is finished to be products in a real time. So it captures the data of a various sources of including the machines, sensors, operations, and etc. It gives an ability to manage the workflows and it generates valuable production data that it could be make operations are more of efficient, productive, and responsive. Okay, the three things of a benefits, which was effective, productive, and responsive. These things was being used for a production of a manager to be a shop, the floor supervisors, and employees to be involved in this production process also. There is also it is a form of a plant floor upon the top floor. This is designed by a AMR research in a 1990 and to the 1992. A group of software development persons and MES, the thing manufactured execution system is an cloud based. Is a cloud based one. It has been created and brought up under control of engineering in 26th September 1923 by the Secretary of State of India. So yeah, it is all about it optimizes the manufacturing process by monitoring, tracking, documenting, and the controlling of entire production life cycle, and it improves the quality control, and it increases the uptime while reducing the inventory and cost. Another use of it is the primary purpose of a EMES, which is system to track and document the transformation of raw materials into a finished products. The use of manufacturing execution system, it works of it tracks and document the transformation of raw materials into the finished products often in real time. And the benefits is all about it gives an ability to manage the workflows, and it generates a valuable production of a data, and it can make up operations and more efficiently productive and responsive. So the benefits of MES is all about it is effective and productive and responsive. The production managers and the shop floor supervisors and the employees involved in a production process going to use this software, and it's a cloud based even. AMR research, they were being this company has been bought up this thing called MES. It's a cloud based, which I have just mentioned before itself. And the basic disadvantage of a MES is all about it may be a better solution for specific products and production on lines only, but not it's gonna be not implement for other sources. So it just gonna be only implementing CV only for a better solution only, not for the best even. That is the it is all about our manufacturing execution system, because sorry, it is all about a designing of a software which is designed to optimize the manufacturing process by monitoring, tracking, and documenting the controlling the process of the production cycle. The next thing was supplier relationship management, which is shortly said to be SRM. Supplier SRM, systems which is to be supplier relationship management. Okay, these supplier relationship management, it is a business initiative where that many companies going to be undertake to build mutually beneficial relationships within suppliers. Okay, it is a business initiative that many companies and gonna be can be undertake to build the mutually beneficial relationships with suppliers. Okay, there is a four types in a supplier relationship, which is by, by the market, ongoing relationship, partnerships, and backward integration. The components of SRM is it is a supply segmentation and strategy implementation and monitoring or collaboration. It is all about. So it includes the key components, which was the supplier segmentation, strategies and implementations, and monitoring and collaborations. The role of SRM is all about it is a systematic approach to evaluating of vendors that to supply the goods materials and services to be organization to determine each supply contribution to success and developing strategy to improve their performance. Advantage of SRM is that it helps to reduce the cost of the goods and services, and also it improves the quality, and the main thing, it increases the innovation. Okay, innovation increasing is the most important because the development that requires such thing. So basically, it helps to reduce the cost of a goods and services, and it improves the quality and increases the innovation also. The challenges of SRM is it has a lack of specific SRM competitions and insufficient of business procurement and supplier even cost reduction also. And Chennai, it is at Chennai, the brain branch of this. The SRM, is all about SRM, guys. And yeah, wait a minute. And then next thing was and the IoT also enables that real-time quality and monitoring. The next thing was imagine identify often a non-conformities before the piece or a batch being finished of a processing and the automatically of a making of a machine or a processing to be adjustments that have some kind of an improve of a quality which it enhances the efficiency and it reduces that waste. So by combining such an energy rates with an IoT, this going to be meeting the process also could be in helps the cost energy to be expenses. So this is information could be used to identify the cost effective equipment of upgrade opportunities and to reduce the waste. So the next thing was decision making at an IoT. Okay, this IoT decision framework has all about strategic decision making. So in this, these helps these basically the framework this helps to understand where the areas would we need to make decisions, and it ensures the consistency across the all strategic business decision and technical and of a more. So these framework has been a much more important than of a product and services, which it communicates the over networks of a goes which have 5 different layers of a complexity of a technology, which is device hardware, software, communications, cloud platform, and cloud applications. So yeah, so this framework is all about a strategic decision making of which where the IoT decision framework going to offer to understand help her to understand the areas where all we need to be make decisions and to ensure the consistency of an across all strategy business decisions technically and more of morely. And these the IoT this decision framework is also much more important as a productivity for product and services which it communicates over networks to a different layers to the different layers. So whatever the product and services it has to be get communicate right with some kind of a network. So it is all of it. All it is all about the framework of that only, which it has some kind of a network of which it communicates in between the products and services or like products or services with the two devices. Okay. So coming to the device hardware, you know that, right? So software, it is in building some kind of a network and the communications in between two devices. If it's something was passing, then it's a communication. Cloud platform is all about the storing thing, and the cloud application all about in building some cloud applications with them. Next thing was in these only there is some things which is user experience decision area. So this is the area where we can concentrate about who are users and what are their requirements and how to provide the great experience to each step of an IoT of a stack without any worrying about the technical details. So the data decision area in these area we make the overall data strategies such as in data flow over the entire IoT stack to fulfill their users to be requirements. So the first thing was the user experience decision area, which where this area mainly concentrate about the how people users are and their requirements to be have to be provided with a great experience to each step of stack without any worrying about technical details. So these data decision area in this we make overall data strategies such as the data flow or else the entire of IoT stack which is fulfilled within a user requirements. The third thing was a business decision area. So a lot of coming to the IoT, you can see this thing organizations and business only things. So with these only, it has been inbuilt in a great effective way. So based on these previous decisions area, just like user experience data area and the data decision area. So these gonna make a decision as like how the product or services would become of a financial potential. And at this heat stage of IoT stack level, they're going to be monetized about the cost of providing the services. So yeah, business decision is all about combination of a user experience decision. Combination of a user experience decision area and data decision area. So by these combination of these both, they're gonna be became a potential like financial potential. So they're gonna be monetized about the cost and the productive services. So the next thing was a technology of an decision area. So in this, they're gonna work with the technology which is laid to be a final facilitate the final solution. Oh, so yeah. Then the next thing was the security decision area. In this, they're gonna implement the technology which it is the most important to decide, and they like whatever the providing thing of a security to the each stage of each stack is really required. So it mainly concentrates upon the decision of which it to be providing which it to be get to be provided for the security purposes to the each stage. And the last thing, which is the standards and the regulations decision area. So in this last stage of a decision area, you got to identify the regulations of a product, which is the services going to be affect our product to each layer of like IoT stack. So the affecting of a product in this, we're gonna see that we're gonna get clarify and we're gonna be identify those things and we're gonna be aware of that. Okay. The user experience decision area, the data decision area, business decision area, technology decision area, security decision area, standards and regulation decision. These are the main decision of decision making things. So the however we have these five framework points. So with these only, this has been all got to be implemented, like coming to the financial or coming to the technical or coming to the cost of a producting services or else any final solutions or security purpose and or else any affecting of a product of verifying the regulations and the standards. So whatever it has been all been coming under to the only the decision making processes, which it used to be with this framework, with this five things of a framework only, we're gonna decide this whole big processes. Businesses are not a easy thing, and technology was not an easy thing. Like yeah, the business and technology is not an easy thing. It's a big thing of an IoT, which IoT has been implemented just because like IoT has been in popular for a more of industry users only. So in that way, guys, was I'm audible for you? Can someone please raise your hand with an emoji? Please respond right now. There is no time. Thank you so much. Okay. Coming to the decision making of an IoT. So in that, it is designed just like a framework of which it helps to understand the areas which it needed to be make decisions and to ensure the consistency of an across which it of our strategic business decision, technology, and more. So these gonna have an importance of a product and services which it communicates over a networks through five stages, which is a hard device hardware and device software, communications, cloud platform, and cloud applications. If I have just mentioned you before, the device hardware is all about in building of hardware devices, and the software is in like interpreting, making that hardware offer some kind of a software to be implementing with that, so that gonna be give the great product. So on the communication, the device to device communication is required, right? So in that way, the cloud platform it stores the data. Cloud application, by implementing some cloud applications, it's going to be enhance more of work. Now the six things of a decision areas work: user experience decision area, data decision area, business decision area, technology decision area, security decision area, and standards and regulations of a decision area. So user experience DA is all about, it concentrates upon who are the user, like who are the users, which they have their requirements to how to provide a great experience to each step of an IoT. So like whatever they need to be get experience in a great way. So how to provide their experience in a great step, they're gonna see this thing called user experience in area. So like they're gonna not worry without any worrying about the technical details. And second thing was the data decision area. And this the overall strategy has been it has it good, it could be have some data flow over the entire IoT stack, fulfills the all the user requirements. And the third thing was the business decision area, which it has based upon the previous decision areas. This is going to make a decision how product and services going to become more financially and in potential. So yeah, the fourth thing was technology decision area. So with this, they're gonna work with some kind of a technologies. At least they're gonna work with some kind of a technologies, and they're gonna facilitate the each layer to the final solution. And the fifth thing was the security decision area. It is where it is implemented to the technology, which it has important to decide and provide security to each stage of an IoT stack. And the sixth thing was a standards and regulation of a decision area. So in this last stage, this IoT decision area would be identify the standards and regulations of a product or services that will affect their product at each layer of a IoT stack. So this is all about decision area. I was repeating one more time. So the decision making IoT is all about a framework which it have a strategic on a decision making. So these IoT decision framework would be help us to understand where the areas are we needed to be take decisions and to make sure the consistency and across through all the strategic businesses decision and technical and more of etc. And this has been implemented with the five things, which is the device hardware, device software, communications, cloud platform, cloud applications. So the platforms we use this decision making for is all about the areas we use is all about the six things, which is user experience, DA, data DA, business DA, technology DA, security DA, standards and regulations DA. So this is an area of where we concentrate about like user experience. This is the area we always concentrate upon who are users, the really requirements, and to provide like how the good experience of each step has been required without any worrying of on the technical details. And the second thing was the data decision area. In this, we make the overall data. So in this, we make overall data strategies such like a data flow over the entire stack to fulfill their user requirements. The third thing was business decision area. It is a decision like it is makes a decision like how the product and services will be become financially potential, and it is monetized by some according to the cost and producting services according to the cost and producting services. And the fourth thing was the technology decision area. In these, each layer we facilitate the final solution. Fifth thing was security decision area. It is used through implementation of a technology, which is important to decide and provide the security to the each stage of an IoT stack. The final thing is the standard and regulation area, which is it is the last stage of an IoT decision area, which we can identify the standards and the regulations of a product of an or also services product or also of an services which it affects the product of an each layer of an IoT which an IoT stack. So this is a major six decision decision area making things, which is a user experience, data of an like data of an a flow on the businesses, and the technology, security way, and standards and regulations of an area. And the next thing was pros and the cons. In the pros, coming to the pros, it enables the information from anywhere of any time on any devices. So it enables the access of an information from anywhere to any devices at any time. So coming to the time and the place, it doesn't require. If it has any transformation of a network, with that network, it's gonna transform the whatever the data it has to be required. So basically it improves the communication between electronic devices. So if you take the lap piece, it comes to the electronic devices, right? So with that devices, you want to communicate some kind of an information between the devices by connecting some network, which is like it's your wish. So and also next thing was it collects the large amount of a data from the multiple devices. It's not only for a small users. Small users or manufacturers in your way. It is eligible for multiple users of a big data also. It is like an industries and organizations and a gated community members use this kind of a data also. It is also inbuilt for small and it is also inbuilt for a higher of a manufacturers. And the next thing was it analyzes the data of an edge and it reduces the amount of a data which it needs to be needed to be sent to the cloud. So whatever the data we have been using, so that data going to be analyzed for short of a time, short of a storage, and it's going to use. It's going to use that data like sorry it's gonna reduce that kind of amount of a data which it need to be sent to the cloud, so it analyzes also the major key points was. And the next thing was it automates the task to be improve the quality of a business services and it reduces the need of a human intervention. So just like I've just mentioned before, these IoT doesn't require a human to human interaction or the human to machine interaction. So if we give some kind of a application or a protocols or some kind of a sensor to that application, so it's gonna be inbuilt by itself by a smart which we set to be a smart applications. So in that way, so see, automatically it task to be improved. Like if it having some kind of a glitch, so it's gonna be rectified with that automatically the quality of a business services. The last thing it enables the health patients to be cared continuously and more effectively. I'll come to the further things. Next thing was applications, right? So not an applications. It is the thing was where IoT technology is properly used for like a professions. So in that way, the pros were all this. Two minutes, guys. Okay, these were the pros of the thing. So yeah. So the first thing was it enables information without any place or else any kind of a time. It enables the time. Sorry, it doesn't require any time or any place. So if it really have that kind of a network in between some kind of a devices, so in between the two devices, so it's gonna be transfer the data through that network. And the second thing was it really like if it two electronic devices, is like I've just mentioned the example before. So in between the electronic devices, if it has a communication, then it's going to be if it has a communication between that electric devices, so it's going to have some improvement of an communication. And the next thing is it collects. It is this IoT is not only for a small manufacturing devices, but it's also for a multiple devices to be to get to be It collects a large amount of it collects a large amount of data, data from the multiple devices. The next thing was it analyzes the data of an agent by reducing the amount of a data which it needs to be collected in the cloud. So it analyzes the data, whatever we have, it's stored on a cloud, and by that also it reduces that amount of a data which it required. And the next thing was it automatically improves our task or whatever we have a business services and etc. without any human to human and or also human to machine interactions. And it enables a health care patients to be cared of continuously. The more profitable thing. And coming to the cons of this, increases the it increases the attack surface as a number of connected devices which it grows. As more information is shared in between the devices, so the hacking gonna be steal the confidential information, so it's gonna be increases. So if the connecting devices has a huge number of account, so it's gonna be get into a dangerous zone, which they can hack the potential account, and they're gonna steal the confidential information which it has. So I think this is the attack surfaces to the devices while growing a count of devices which it got to be connected. And the next thing was it makes the devices to be a manageable and challenging. The next thing was if you have if the connecting devices have a huge count of a number, so that gonna be quite challenging thing even to organize to be collecting of an all the devices count. So it is quite different if it is having connected to the more devices. So the server gonna be get hacked and also attack. Or else, and second thing was the challenging. It is gonna be challenging because they cannot be monitoring the such huge count. So and the third thing was it has a high potential of corporate to the other devices if there is any bug. So yeah. And the fourth thing was it increases the compatibility issues between the devices. So there is no international compatibility of our IoT. That thing. And this makes it to be difficult from a different manufacturers to be communicate this thing. Communicate this thing. Completed your class. Let me show you the count. For you. Right. Okay, coming to the cons, by connecting upon a major of our devices, like multiple devices, to the one network, so it has a huge chancing of hacking and a thing, just like we simply said to be attacking. And the second thing was it's a quite challenging thing to manage and to collect the data from the all devices. The third thing was it doesn't have a high potential to get off a clear of a bug very easily. And the fourth thing was the compatibility of and between devices that doesn't have a scope of a high chances, just like there is no international standard of a capability of an IoT. The bad thing was, and it is quite difficult to the devices from a different manufacturers to be communicate with each other. So the devices is not from a same thing. Then it is quite difficult thing. So it has to be have a similar qualities to be make the manufacturers to be work often with the same network itself. Those are the pros and the cons. So coming to the decision making, it is also a framework of a strategic decision making. It has other five things which is formed as in a framework, which is in a device hardware, device software, communications, cloud platform, cloud application, that way. And it is of an area they take the decision area to be five six stages, which is a user experience, data DA, business DA, technology DA, security DA. And the final thing is the standards and regulations decision DA. And the coming to the pros of these words, it enables access to be information from anywhere, anytime, and at any cost of the devices. And also it improves the communication between the whatever the connected electric devices. and it colors not only for the short thing of an amount of a transformation of a data, but also it has been enabled for the huge amount of a data transmissions. And the fourth thing was it analyzes the sizes of a data. So it analyzes the data whatever we have in a cloud of an each edge, and it ensures that to be a useful one end of the day onto the cloud, and it's going to be sent in that way only. And other thing was the task has to be the very advantage thing coming to this thing, which it was it automatically the task improvement of a quality would be faster of any time, and also it reduces the need of a human intervention, as I had just mentioned before itself. This IoT doesn't require any human to human interaction or human to machine interaction, so it's gonna be inbuilt there. Congratulations. So yeah, it improves the quality of an business services, and it reduces the need of human interaction. So sorry, intervention. So it enables the health patients to be cared continuously and more efficiently. Coming to the cons, it increases the attack service as the number of connected devices as it grows. So as more information is shared in between the devices, so the potential of a hacker is to be get to be stealed of an confidential information going to be increases. And the second thing was just like I've just said, it is a quite challenging to the members to organizations to take the collect on the data from the every devices because and it has a high potential to incorporate the other connected devices if there is any bug, and it has an increases the capability of issues in between the devices. There is no international capability to the IoT, and it is quite difficult to devices to be communicate from the different manufacturers even. Those are the cons of these IoT. So yeah, tomorrow we'll discuss the technically professionals of an IoT, which it has some major applications, which is the manufacturing, automotive, transportation, logistics, retail, public sector, and the healthcare. So it takes a huge time. Every application takes a huge time. Just I was intimating you before itself. So because IoT is all about these things only. So I'm gonna say you detailedly, as you have mentioned me to that to make more of depth, right? So in that way, the manufacturing has a huge slides. I'll show you. Is there application basic thing and top users were this thing. It has a different slide. And from the next thing was automation. Even it has so many things. These were we wanna discuss tomorrow the manufacturing thing. Maybe it can maybe take some 2 days of a time. Okay, guys.
As was audible for you.